What's up everybody, it's David with Website Creator Pro. So in this video, I want to talk about like writing content yourself versus outsourcing content. What are the pros and cons, and like how do you technically like outsource content? What do I recommend? So let's get to it. So learning how to blog is one of the most valuable and important skills that you need to develop, because you just need to learn how to structure content yourself. And then once you understand how to structure content yourself, then that's when you can like outsource content via a bunch of different services, which I'll recommend, which ones I like and dislike. Okay, so once you're ready to outsource content, you have a lot of different options. You can use like a content mill, you can use like a freelance service, or you can like try and source writers yourself. Those are your three main options, and they each have their own pros and cons. Okay, so the first way to get articles is to use like a content mill, and for that I would recommend you check out IWriters. And the advantage of IWriters is that you don't have to develop like a relationship with anyone. It's just a service. You just submit the articles that you need, you pay, then you get the articles back in a week or so, depending on how many articles you submitted and the complexity of the articles. And that's it. And so I find that the quality is pretty mediocre depending on what you buy. I typically buy like the most expensive or the second most expensive package that they sell, and the quality is okay. I typically have to jump in and like rewrite the articles myself, or like add to the article and make it a little bit more in depth, and so take it from maybe like a 1,000-word article to a 1,500-word article, if that makes any sense. And so iWriter is good if you just need content cheap and fast, but the quality is just okay. But one thing I do like is that the articles are usually just not copied at all. There's no problem with plagiarism, which is something that's really helpful compared to the other options. So the next way to source articles is to use a service like Fiverr or Upwork. I would definitely recommend checking out Upwork over Fiverr, but you can still find quality writers on both platforms. What I like about these platforms is that they have good ratings and reviews for writers, so you can kind of vet the writer before you hire them, and also like you can just build a relationship with an individual over the long term. Now there are like a lot of Fiverr gigs where they are kind of a content mill, so you got to be careful about that, but you could definitely find like a good quality individual who could write articles long term for your website, and that's it. And so I like that because both these platforms, these freelance platforms, they just take care of all the technical aspects of getting work. So they take care of like the messaging, payment, deliverable, all that technical stuff that you don't have to take care of. That's why I like Upwork and Fiverr. And I also find that you can, generally speaking, get better quality content than you can get from iWriter, typically for like the same price. Now the only downside of using like a freelance platform is that you do have to do your due diligence to make sure that the articles are quality, they're not, plagiarized, they don't have any sections where like the writer got lazy and they just like copied and pasted from another website. And so that's a little bit of an annoyance. So when you hire a new writer, usually like for the first 5 to 10 articles, you definitely need to do follow up and make sure they're producing quality content over time, and that is it. And so generally speaking, to check the quality of the work is easy. You just copy and paste different sections into Google just to see like if any other articles come up with those exact same sentence structures. If they do, that means you got a copied piece of content, so you should probably fire that writer. But anyways, those are the two platforms I really like, Upwork and Fiverr. If I had to pick one over the other, I definitely like Upwork, because Upwork has more like better price for writers than Fiverr. But those are your two options if you want to outsource content via a freelance platform. And the last way to source content writers is to figure out a process to find writers independently, apart from a freelance platform or from a content mill. The process that I would do would be to like first check out Facebook groups, because there's tons of Facebook groups on a variety of topics. So if you have like a website on like numerology, you can absolutely jump into like a numerology Facebook group and find someone who is capable of writing quality content for your website, and they will happily accept payment. Or you can use something like ProBlogger Jobs, which is ProBlogger is an old school website that used to be a lot more popular back in the day before YouTube took off, which was all about blogging and creating a blog, etc. And so ProBlogger still has their job board, and it's fantastic. Now you have to pay, I think it's about $70 to have your listing. You're gonna get back a bunch of responses, and then you have to have your own vetting process. So that's good and bad. So that's kind of like why I still like Fiverr and Upwork, because they take care of the reviews, payments, messaging, all that technical stuff on the back end. If you're going to go the independent route, finding people via like Facebook groups or like ProBlogger, the ProBlogger job board, you're going to have your own process, your own vetting process for hiring people, testing them, checking for quality content, have your own messaging system, your own payment, etc. So it could be a little bit technical and a little bit annoying if you want to go that route. But if you're serious about building like a long-term business and managing a bunch of different writers, then I think that long-term, that's the best route. But if you're someone like in the situation like me, where you have a few websites and you just want to hire someone to write write articles on a weekly basis. Maybe we're talking like 3 articles, 5 articles a week. Like we're not talking like a ton of content. Maybe just like 2 articles. You have $40, $50. You want to hire someone to like write 2 articles for you once a week and put it on your website. Then you can totally do that by finding someone on Fiverr or Upwork. All right, everybody, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So in general, what I suggest people do is check out IWriter if you need a content mill. The advantage of a content mill is that you can get a lot of content pretty quick. The content's going to be kind of low quality and you have to edit it yourself typically, but you can kind of rest assured that it's going to be like plagiarism free. It's going to be authentic, actually written content, which I like. The other way to do, which I personally recommend, is to find writers via Upwork or Fiverr. So you can find like a handful of writers that you can develop a relationship with over time, and that's perfect if you're just someone who wants to get content, you want to edit the content yourself, okay? So you get the blog post back and you just want to edit yourself, add internal links, add images, upload it to your site yourself, and have a little bit more control. Then I recommend that because they take care of all the technical details on the back end, like messaging, payment, reviews, etc. So there's already that little bit of a vetting process built into those 2 platforms. And the last way, if you want to build a team of writers, if your business ever gets to that point, you could definitely use something like Facebook groups or pro blogger jobs and find writers that way. And then you have to develop your own system, okay? And so your own system, like how do you test the quality of the writers? Like, okay, so how do you have your own messaging system? How are you gonna have payment? You know, how are you gonna have invoices? You're gonna have to develop all that stuff yourself. I don't wanna like discourage you from doing that way. It just depends on like where you are in your business. For most people, I think the best bang for your buck is to use like IWriter or to use a freelance platform and just spend money, get used to spending money to create content, okay? Because I can tell you right now, like this is like, not that it's a game changer, I don't wanna like overblow it, but like, you know, you're the bottleneck. You're the bottleneck when it comes to managing your blog and your websites, okay? So if you have like 2 websites, 3 websites, there's no way you're going to be able to write a ton of content. Like I did my own test, like I was able to write like 35 articles in 1 month. Like I can churn out like a 1,500 word article a day. And so that's just gonna be a bottleneck because guess what? I have other things to do than to spend 3 hours a day writing a 1,500 word blog post. I have videos, I have courses, I have a life, I wanna do other things. And so to like kind of develop your business, you need to have a process where you have a way to get content, have other people help you. But luckily, people always think that this is going to be so expensive. It's like you can find quality article writers and pay them between $18 to $30 depending on the writer. That's kind of the range. And so like how much should you pay? That's kind of like what you should go in expecting. Don't be super cheap. You'll find people that will be like, oh, I'll write an article for $10. Like, you know, you get what you pay for, okay? So I'm always happy to pay like $22 to $25 per 1,000 word article because I know that in general, the article is going to be quality and I can actually like take it and edit it and make it better, add to it, add images, make it longer myself, okay? And so I have a nice base to like amplify and improve upon, if that makes any sense. All right, everybody. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, hit that like button. My name is David, websitecreatorpro.com. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.